For our ethnography, our group chose to take a look into adult entertainment clubs located in Second Life. While there are many to choose from, some standing as separate locations and others in larger areas such as London City, we chose to look at Foxy Lady Strip Club, Pink Velvet, and Castle of Dark Angels. Through the exploration of these locations, we chose to focus on how exactly they function, the idea of online gender identities and representations in these contexts, as well as the overall privacy and etiquette present. In terms of function, the three places basically operated in the same way. After sparking conversation with some of the dancers at each, we found that there was an actual application process for many of the adult clubs on Second Life. Dancers must be reliable, as many places assign specific shifts, with only a few having a log-in and dance-as-you-please business model. Furthermore, dancer avatars must be aesthetically pleasing, and the person controlling it must be personable enough to generate tips and convince guests to receive other services. These services range from clothed and nude lap dances to more hardcore escort-type activities. These aspects seem to be where both the club and the dancers made money, in addition to general donations. In comparison to that of the Chinese gold farmers in World of Warcraft discussed by Julian Dibble, work seemed to take less effort. Instead of hours and hours of intense participation, dancers simply created a script of animations that looped while they focused more on the conversational interactions. The dancers interviewed claimed that this was the biggest difference, besides the actual look of the club, between Second Life and real strip clubs. Dancers are able to more easily engage in more personal conversations with customers, as the volume of people in Second Life clubs at one time is never as high as those found in actual strip clubs. In addition to discovering how these locations functioned as businesses and social atmospheres, we gained insight into the ideas of online gender identity and representation. The dancers we spoke to were all female, or so they claimed, and told us that female avatars often came through the clubs more so than males. They continued to state that many of these female avatars were looking for work as dancers rather than attending for pleasure. This seemed to be the case of many of the hired dancers as well, who mainly stated that they dance for the pay most of all. Additionally, the dancers explained that they often have encounters in which it feels as though a male is controlling a female avatar, and vice versa, yet it is almost impossible to know for sure, as most people will never admit it. Such behavior truly resonated with the idea discussed in the article Managing Impressions Online, which states that people often engage in strategic activities to create an online persona which conveys an impression to others which is in his or her interest to convey. This idea was further supported by our discovery of text-based roleplay found in some of the locations. Through this channel of self-representation, users posted third-person scenarios describing each animation of their avatar in very detailed and sensual language. These instances read as if they were erotica fiction and seemed to act as a way to develop their avatar's persona and overall character. While participants in these locations did seem to engage in online identity development, privacy and etiquette remained a very common theme. For instance, upon our arrival to Foxy Lady, we initially did not disclose that we were there strictly for research, and quickly found that questions were not appreciated unless money was being exchanged. The dancer demanded to know what was with all the questions, and soon threatened to have us booted if we did not respond with answers. Due to our delay, the dancer locked us in a cage on the spot before we explained that our questions were for class. Even in the aftermath of imprisonment, the dancer was quite skeptical, asking us questions of her own before she was willing to go into more depth about her experience on Second Life. Instantly, this occurrence reminded us of the idea discussed in Siena Madrid's The Lying Disease, which states that our natural bullshit detectors are muted online. We can't rely on facial expressions or other physical cues for sensing lies, and studies suggest that without these cues, we're prone to generously fill in the gaps. In this case, the dancer at Foxy Lady did not wish to take the time to fill in the gaps, quickly going on the offensive. Because of this interaction, we chose to approach interviews the same way in each location, just to find similar acts of defensiveness and privacy preservation. In terms of etiquette, there did seem to be similarities to actual strip clubs, as random avatars were not allowed on the stage or its poles unless formally hired by the location. If this occurred, the dancers would warn the avatar before continuing to boot them out as well.